Hello there you guys, welcome to one of my videos. Ralf Rangnick is closing in on his first signing as Manchester United boss, with RB Leipzig's Amadou Haidara on his radar. Amadou Haidara has a £33 million release clause. Sources in Germany have said that Rangnick has already held discussions with Amadou Haidara's agent. Of course, Rangnick knows the player well, because Rangnick used to manage RB Leipzig. There's some other players he wants as well. The Manchester Evening News said not so long ago that Rangnick wants a Timo Werner reunion at Manchester United. Rangnick has been given a 100 million transfer budget for January. Today's game against Crystal Palace will be Ralf Rangnick's first game in charge of Manchester United. Rangnick is Manchester United's interim manager until the end of the season. Then after that, Rangnick will continue in a consultancy role for a further 2 years. Before Manchester United, Rangnick was the head of sports and development at Lokomotiv Moscow. Manchester United will get a permanent manager at the end of the season. There's been quite a few names linked with the permanent role at Man United. I still believe that Pochettino is the favourite to become Manchester United's next permanent manager. Pochettino has come out and said a few times that he's happy at PSG and he won't let the Man United rumours distract him. Revert back to the other week, PSG rejected Manchester United's approach to appoint Pochettino. Reports were circulating out the other week saying that Pochettino is interested in the Manchester United job, and the Manchester Evening News came out and said that Man United are confident of appointing Mauricio Pochettino as the next permanent manager. And he said Manchester United agreed to pay the £10 million compensation fee for Pochettino. Revert back to when Manchester United sacked Jose Mourinho. Man United should have got Pochettino then, but the club decided to go with Solskjaer instead. Pochettino is a good manager, even though he's hardly won anything. I think he has won a cup at PSG. He's got a full season left on his PSG contract. Pochettino is proven in the Premier League, which is beneficial because before he managed Tottenham, he endured 5.5 years at Tottenham. Analysing the vast majority of his tenure when he was at Tottenham, Tottenham were competing in and out of the top 4. But revert back to 2018, Pochettino guided Tottenham to their first ever Champions League final. He almost won the Premier League when he was Tottenham manager. And before he managed Southampton, He only enjoyed a short tenure with them, but he still managed to guide Southampton to their highest ever finish in the Premier League. So they're the clubs he's managed in the Premier League so far, and before he managed Espanyol. Revert back to earlier on this week, there was rumours about Roberto Mancini. He said Manchester United consider hiring Roberto Mancini instead of Mauricio Pochettino. Mancini is in charge of Italy at the moment. He's been in charge of Italy since 2018. He's got a contract with Italy until 2026. Revert back to last summer, he won the European Championship with Italy. Around a decade ago, Mancini managed Manchester City. When he was the manager of Man City, he won the Premier League, the FA Cup and the Charity Shield. Not so long ago, Erik ten Hag was mentioned. He said Erik ten Hag is said to be interested in the Manchester United job in the summer, and Ajax will not stand in his way if he wants to leave at the end of the season. And Brendan Rodgers, he's been mentioned as well. Manchester United have sacked 4 permanent managers since Ferguson. Man United sacked David Moyes after 10 months. Then Manchester United sacked Louis van Gaal after 2 years or so. Manchester United did win the FA Cup under Louis van Gaal. Then Manchester United sacked Jose Mourinho after around 2.5 years. Mourinho did enjoy one good season at Man United because he won 3 trophies in his first season. Them 3 trophies were the Charity Shield, the EFL Cup, and the Europa League. The reasons it didn't work out under Mourinho is because he had bad disputes with the top players. He also had bad disputes with the board because the board weren't recommending the signings he wanted to recommend in. And over a week ago, Manchester United sacked Ole Gunnar Solskjaer following the 4-1 defeat to Watford. When Solskjaer got sacked, Solskjaer gave a farewell interview. He got emotional in that farewell interview, which is obviously understandable because Solskjaer adores the club, and Ole was part of the club for a long time. He was Manchester United manager for almost 3 years, and he enjoyed 11 years as a player for Man United, so that's almost 14 years in total. Solskjaer is a legend of the club. He always will be a legend of the club. Despite Man United sacking Solskjaer over a week ago, all United fans still adore him, reflecting on what he did for the club, and obviously there's still United fans chanting his name. Man United made the right decision though, sacking him, because Solskjaer couldn't take the team any further. I don't think Man United really wanted to sack him, but they were left with no choice in the end but to sack him. Manchester United paid Solskjaer around $7.5 million, because revert back to last summer, Solskjaer signed a 3-year contract with an option of a further year. Manchester United made a mistake giving him that contract because we all knew for a long time that he wasn't the long-term manager for Man United. Solskjaer has no proven pedigree as a manager. The clubs he's managed in his managerial career, obviously he managed Man United's reserve team. He managed Cardiff. His record at Cardiff was terrible. The reason he got sacked from Cardiff is because he got them relegated. He endured 2 spells at Mulder. He won a few Norwegian titles at Mulder, but they're not a big club. And of course he managed Manchester United's senior squad. Ollie had a proven pedigree when he was a player for Man United because he won a lot of trophies when he was a player, and his most iconic moment as a player was 1999 when he scored the winning goal in the Champions League final at the Nou Camp. You know, Solskjaer won the club the treble, and that is the club's greatest achievement. You know, don't get me wrong, not all of the blame stemmed from Solskjaer, reflecting on the poor performances. Yes, he was accountable for some things because his tactics and his team selections were questioned a lot, but there was also players that had to take responsibility for those poor performances as well. You know, when Ollie was United manager, this season was his 3rd full season, and I said, you know, this was always going to be a massive season for Ollie, and obviously the pressure was on him at the start of this season, reflecting on the summer transfer window Manchester United had. Man United enjoyed a very good summer transfer window this year, made 4 signings. 3 of the 4 signings were major signings, and last summer Man United must have spent around £141 million. Revert back to last summer as well, Solskjaer received very good backing from the board. Ed Woodward backed him, the Glazers backed him, our director of football John Murtaugh backed him, and Darren Fletcher backed him. So reflecting on that, you know, Solskjaer ran out of excuses. Solskjaer did not win a trophy when he was Man United manager, and I said, you know, he wasn't capable of winning trophies as a manager. Manchester United have not won a trophy since 2017. I'm hoping we can win a trophy under Ralf Rangnick. I think he could be capable of winning a trophy or 2. You know, Rangnick's got a decent pedigree behind him. You know, far superior manager to Ollie. But revert back to Ollie, you know, the expectations were far too high for him to exceed as United manager, and basically Ollie was in a position that he shouldn't have ever been in. Ollie did get appointed in as the interim manager back in December 2018. He was the interim manager in his first 3 months. He did well as the interim manager, so the club decided to give him the job on a permanent basis back in March 2019. And then when he got the job permanently, that's when it all started to go wrong. But Ollie knew when he'd taken over at Man United it was going to be a massive job, not only a massive job, a difficult job as well. Despite him knowing the club through thick and thin, Ollie was managing one of the biggest clubs in the world. You know, there was some positives to take from Solskjaer's managerial tenure. You know, I think he did develop the youth well when he was United manager. He brought consistency back in certain aspects. I thought he did make good signings when he was United manager. Solskjaer signed 14 players. You know, in the summer 2019, he recommended Daniel James and Wan-Bissaka and Harry Maguire in. In January 2020, brought Bruno Fernandes in and Odin Igalo in on loan. In the summer of 2020, he brought Edison Cavani in, Donny van de Beek, Alex Telles, Amadama Traore and Facundo Pellistri. And in this year's summer transfer window, he brought Tom Heaton in, Jadon Sancho, Rafael Varane and re-signed Cristiano Ronaldo after 12 years. Man United spent over £400 million under Solskjaer. Ollie enjoyed like 5 transfer windows when he was United manager. Ollie also got rid of a lot of players when he was United manager. You know, he loaned players out and he got rid of players permanently. The players he loaned out last summer was Brandon Williams, Ethan Laird went out on loan, Andres Pereira went out on loan, Axel Tuanzebe went out on loan, Tahith Chong went out on loan, and Facundo Pellistri went out on loan. The players Ollie got rid of permanently, obviously, he offloaded James Wilson and Borthwick Jackson. He released Sergio Romero and Joe Pereira. He also offloaded Daniel James last summer. He was the only player Manchester United sold last summer. He also offloaded Odin Igalo, Fossa Mensah and Rojo. That was January. He also offloaded the likes of Young, Valencia, Smalling, Darmian. Also offloaded Fellaini back in January 2019. Offloaded Angel Gomez, Herrera. Offloaded Lukaku and Sanchez. So there you go. In his first full season, he got us to 3 semi-finals. And he got us a 3rd place finish. In Ollie's second full season, he got us to the semi-finals of the Carabao Cup. He got us to the quarter-finals of the FA Cup. And of course, he got us to the Europa League final. And that was his first major final when he was United manager. But unfortunately, we didn't win it. In his second full season, he got us a 2nd place finish. And don't forget, when Man United had Solskjaer, they went 29 games unbeaten away from home in the Premier League. Manchester United have got good players, and I'm hoping now we can get the best out of these group of players under Ralf Rangnick. Because revert back to the last few months under Ollie, you know, we was not getting the best out of these players because, quite frankly, the players weren't playing for the manager, you know, they wanted Solskjaer sacked. But look who we've got in the team, you know, we've got the best player in the world overall in Cristiano Ronaldo. Ronaldo got a brace against Arsenal recently, including the winner from the penalty. Ronaldo now has 801 goals in his career, and he's got 12 goals for Manchester United in all competitions since he re-signed. Last weekend against Chelsea, surprisingly, Ronaldo started on the bench. Ronaldo did come on in the game. Ronaldo scored against Villarreal the other week as well. It was a lovely chip over the Villarreal goalkeeper, but it was a poor clearance from the Villarreal goalkeeper that led to the goal. Since Ronaldo re-signed for the club as well, he's had back-to-back awards because he got named Player of the Month for October and he got named Premier League Player of the Month for September. Reports were saying yesterday that Ronaldo is a major doubt for Manchester United's game against Crystal Palace. He said Ronaldo is suffering with a knee issue. I think he picked up the injury against Arsenal when he was celebrating. Ronaldo's won 30-odd trophies in his playing career, including 5 Ballon d'Ors. Ronaldo's got a contract with Man United till 2023. There's an option of a further year. He receives £480,000 a week, so he's the highest earner at Man United. He wears a number 7 shirt, and Man United got Ronaldo for 19.8 million with add-ons included. Man United paid around 12.7 or 8 million up front. We've also got Mason Greenwood. That's a talented player. Greenwood hasn't played for quite a while because at one point Greenwood had COVID. He's obviously now recovered from COVID. I think Greenwood's been on the bench for the last 2 games. Greenwood, I think, scored 4 goals in the league so far this season. At one point, Greenwood went a while without scoring. But despite that, he's been a revelation since he broke into our senior squad. Greenwood made his senior debut for Man United back in 2019. He's been a United player since the age of 7, and last season Greenwood signed a new 4-year contract. When Greenwood plays, most of the time he plays on the right wing. There again, he did play up top alongside Ronaldo. I think it was in the game against Man City when we lost 2-0. Obviously, the Greenwood and Ronaldo partnership doesn't work. Man United have also got Jadon Sancho. That's a good player as well, and we've been getting the best out of him recently. Against Arsenal, weren't brilliant. You know, Sancho was far better against Chelsea and Villarreal than he was against Arsenal. Sancho has scored 2 goals for the club so far, because he scored against Chelsea last weekend and he scored against Villarreal. Revert back to when we had Solskjaer though. Man United weren't getting the best out of Sancho because Solskjaer was playing him out of position, and there again there was quite a few games Sancho didn't play in under Ole. You know, Manchester United got Sancho for 78 million with add-ons included. Man United paid around 73 million up front. Sancho's got a contract with Man United till June 2026. There's an option of a further year. We've also got Marcus Rashford. That's a good player as well. He weren't too good against Arsenal recently, but he still managed to get an assist. Rashford played against Chelsea last Sunday. Obviously, he was playing up top alongside Sancho. I thought Rashford was poor in the first half against Chelsea, but he was much better in the second half. And Rashford made an impact when he came on against Villarreal. At one point, Rashford was out with a shoulder injury for a while, and at one point he had to have an operation on his shoulder. You know, Rashford has been part of the club for a long time. He's been a United player since the age of 7, and he's been in our senior squad since 2016. Rashford's got a contract with Man United until 2023. Edison Cavani, he's also a good player as well. Cavani's still out with injury at the moment. He had an injury earlier on this season. Cavani initially lost his place in the team with the club re-signing Ronaldo last summer. Cavani's leaving Manchester United next year. I recently heard that Cavani's interested in making a move to Barcelona next summer when his contract expires. Manchester United got Cavani on a free transfer from PSG. This season is Cavani's second full season at Man United. You've got Bruno Fernandes, that's also a very, very good player. Fernandes did well against Arsenal recently. He scored. Fernandes obviously played against Chelsea last weekend. I thought defensively he was good, but he lacked attacking intent. Fernandes didn't start against Villarreal. Van der Beek started in that number 10 ahead of him, but Fernandes came on against Villarreal and got an assist. You know, Fernandes has enjoyed poor games this season, but he has enjoyed a lot of games where he's been very consistent. You know, Fernandes has scored a lot of goals for Man United, and he's also provided a lot of assists. You know, Fernandes is one of the best signings we've made since Ferguson retired. Fernandes has been a Manchester United player for almost 2 years. We got him from Sporting Lisbon back in January 2020. He has won awards at Manchester United, reflecting on the good performances he's put out. Revert back to earlier on this season, Fernandes did make it clear that he wants to stay at Man United. And when he first came to Man United, he said, look, I've come to Manchester to win trophies. Fernandes has got a contract with Man United till 2025. There's an option of a further 12 months. Earlier on this season, there was talks about Fernandes extending his contract. We've also got Donny van der Beek. That's a good player as well. but Donny van de Beek doesn't get enough opportunities. Towards the end of Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's managerial tenure, Van der Beek did confirm that he wants to leave in January. I think the only way we can persuade Van der Beek to stay is if he's to get the opportunities that he's been demanding under Ralf Rangnick. Van der Beek didn't start against Arsenal, but he did come on. He didn't start against Chelsea, came on in that game. Yes, he started against Villarreal, did well. Van der Beek could be in contention to start today's game against Crystal Palace. I think he'll start alongside Fred in centre defensive midfield. Van der Beek's only scored 2 goals for the club, and he's been at Manchester United for over a year and a half. He's endured a difficult 19 months or so at the club. This season is Van der Beek's second full season at Man United. You know, Manchester United got Van der Beek for 40 million with add-ons included. He's got a contract to Man United till 2025. There's an option of a further year, and he's versatile. He can play in 3 different roles. Fred, I've been really impressed with him in his last 2 games. You know, Fred played very well against Arsenal recently, you know, got an assist for the Fernandes goal. He also won the penalty because he got brought down by Martin Odegaard. Fred enjoyed a bizarre moment though, because he did stamp on De Gea's foot in the build-up to Smith Rowe's goal. Fred against Chelsea last week was very good in the second half. You know, Fred squandered a chance that came from the mistake from Mendy, the Chelsea goalkeeper. I'm hoping Fred can continue with these good performances. I think definitely Fred will start today against Palace. He deserves to keep his place in the team. Manchester United got Fred for around 50 million from Shakhtar Donetsk a few years ago now. You've also got Paul Pogba. That's a good player as well. Not only a good player, he's an imperative player. Revert back towards the start of the season, Pogba did well. Pogba's got 7 assists so far in the Premier League this season. He produced good performances for Man United in the last couple of months of last season. Pogba is out with a thigh injury at the moment. Pogba's out for the rest of the year. Pogba got the thigh injury in France training earlier on this season. I hope Pogba stays at Man United. But revert back to earlier on this season, it said Man United are prepared to sell Pogba in the January transfer window. Pogba's current contract at Man United expires next summer. Revert back to the start of the season, Pogba rejected a new Man United contract offer. We've also got Alex Telles. That's a very good left back as well. Telles has played in the last 3 games because obviously Luke Shaw's not been available. Shaw's been out with a concussion. I think Telles deserves another chance against Palace. You know, Telles will only play when Luke Shaw's not available. Earlier on this season, Telles had an injury. The reason Man United brought Telles in though was to provide competition for Luke Shaw. You know, Man United got Telles for around 15.4 million with add-ons included. And Luke Shaw, you know, he's a good left back overall, but Shaw's certainly not proven how good he can be this season so far. And I'm shocked in that aspect because last season Luke Shaw was superb. There again though, Shaw's had a few injuries this season. But still no excuses for his bad performances. I'm sure at some point Luke Shaw will regain his form. You know, Shaw's been at Manchester United for 7.5 years now, so he's been a very long-serving player. He's had a good career at Man United despite his injuries. Shaw's got under 2 years left on his contract. You've also got Raphael Varane. That's a good centre-half as well. Varane's not available though at the moment because he's out with a hamstring injury. It's the second injury he's endured as a Man United player. Because revert back to earlier on this season, Varane had a groin injury. He was out with that groin injury for a few weeks. But before he got these injuries, Varane did well in quite a few games for Man United. He also had a couple of games where he's looked off the pace. Man United got Varane for 34 million. Well, that's what Man United paid up front with add-ons included. It risen up to 41 million. Varane's got a contract with Man United till 2025. There's an option of a further year. Varane to Man United was official just before kick-off against Leeds, which was the opening day. Man United have also got Eric Bailly. That's a good centre-half as well. Bailly's made 4 appearances so far this season. Bailly played very well against Chelsea last weekend. Bailly only played against Chelsea though because Maguire was suspended. Bailly lost his place in the team a while ago, obviously with the signing of Varane last summer, and obviously Lindelof's been preferred to Bailly. Don't ask me why, because Bailly is a far superior centre-half to Lindelof. My only element of concern about Bailly is injury prone. Towards the end of last season, Bailly actually signed a new contract with Man United till 2024. There's an option of a further year. Bailly's been at Manchester United for 5.5 years now. Man United paid around 30 million for him from Villarreal back in 2016. And Wan-Bissaka, he's a good right back defensively, but the attacking side of his game is not so good. There's certainly aspects of Wan-Bissaka's game that's got to improve. Bissaka's recently had a hand injury, obviously couldn't play against Arsenal. Dalot started ahead of him. Dalot really impressed me against Arsenal. He's done well in quite a few of the games he's been involved in. Dalot only plays though when Bissaka is not available. Last season Dalot had a loan spell with AC Milan, and reflecting on that, he gained some experience. Man United got Dalot around 3 years ago from Porto. Man United paid around £19 million for him. He's got a contract with Man United till 2023. And David De Gea, very good goalkeeper. He's really impressed me this season. De Gea was in goal for the game against Arsenal recently. Made some good saves to deny Aubameyang and Gabriel. But he did enjoy a bizarre moment in the game, De Gea, because he did go down in the build-up to Smith Rowe's goal. De Gea did well against Chelsea last weekend. He made some good saves in that first half to deny Odoi and Rudiger. So there you go. So anyway guys, I'll be back on later on for match reaction for the Palace game. Drop your comments, likes below on the channel if you do consider subscribe as always, and take care, God bless. See you all again soon.